This is a Valiant Star podcast. Enjoy.
Hello, beautiful nerds, and welcome back to another episode of Nerds Be Like. As always, it's me, Antonio, with the boys. Not always, but it's fine. We got Patty, we got Eric, we got Dan, and we got Lenny.
Would it be?
That's kind of messed up.
It doesn't matter. What are we doing today, Dan?
Well, like I mentioned last time, I don't know when like the Wonder Woman Minnesota's gonna go up, but in that I mentioned that we're gonna be reviewing Soul, the movie Disney Pixar Soul, that literally came out the same day as Wonder Woman, but this garnered a lot more attention from us than Wonder Woman.
Because it's better.
Everybody. Everybody.
We're gonna be basically reviewing it, and just talking about it and things like that. And if you want to listen to the Wonder Woman one that me and Eric did, that'll be up on here, either already or the next thing up. It's like a Minnesota, so shouldn't take too long. But yeah, so we're gonna be doing. But Eric, do you want to start us with the lightning round?
Oh, I forgot. I have parts in this episode. Jesus Christ!
My God! Oh my God! What you mean?
I forgot that quick. I don't know what happened.
Stupid.
You can hear me fine, right?
Yeah, you're good.
I had to tab over. Sometimes it's weird.
Starting off with lightning round, quick round, thing round,
Come on.
the
It's
speed
gonna be
round.
10 minutes. I'm gonna stop. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so
Beat the shit out of you.
so we're gonna start off with some Marvel news. Loki season 2 has begun production.
Yay.
Yay.
Is it announced or is it production?
Because that's all that matter. We're getting
It got announced. I think it got announced right after. Probably, I think they got done filming Loki season 1.
I think it's just in development. Yes, it's pre-production at the moment.
Yeah, they're story writing directors, making sure contracts look fine. I feel like he already has a contract, anyways.
Yeah,
But
I said, woo, season 2 is gonna happen. That's all that matters.
Yay! All right, we gotta see season 1 first. But all right,
But
That's fine.
and so I want to say in this last week, we got a lot of news that actually came from Kevin Feige that he's dishing out. He confirmed that Deadpool 3 script is 100% a go. The script is getting rewritten, or it's getting written, and it's being overseen by Ryan Reynolds, which means he's probably going to be helping write the script and be a producer, all that good stuff. He's officially in the MCU, and this movie will be rated R.
Fuck rated R. We take those.
Weird.
That's
Weird
what
change.
matters.
Yeah, weird for it being in part of the MCU, but like, yay for rated R.
They can do that. I mean, you really can overlook.
I mean, it's
Deadpool.
gonna happen, but like,
no, like I said, Deadpool's just gonna be like, I'm in the MCU, suck it, or something like that, and just move on.
yeah, we're just gonna have to accept it.
Yay for rated R too. That's a big move because that means more things can happen. Yeah.
Blade's gonna be rated R. That's what that means. Yes.
God, you're so happy.
I know.
I am. All right. So he also talked about how Black Panther 2 will focus more on the country of Wakanda. So we're gonna see like more of the culture and the people, and I guess like supporting cast is gonna be pulled to the front.
Yeah, I would say there's gonna be multiple perspectives.
So we don't know who's coming back. I'm assuming it's everyone that was supporting cast except for
It's
like
gotta be all.
maybe
Everybody.
Except for Eric Killmonger. That's it.
and the what's his
Yeah.
name? The dude that
Yeah,
played the
he's so
CIA,
good.
the white dude
Uh,
from like
Martin
Precious.
Freeman.
The Hobbit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman, that one.
Martin.
Yeah.
Martin Freeman. Yeah.
Yeah, Martin. He said it. Patty said it.
That guy.
Yeah.
We'll see. They said they're not going to CGI or recast T'Challa, so unused footage. I don't know.
Could be. It could be.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah.
I don't-
I'm not
like-
all, I can't say I'm a fan.
It's just weird at this point because it's like I understand you want to keep legacy going, but like
I
yeah.
think the biggest problem is that the actress for Shuri's comments.
she did not want to do this.
Exactly. That's why
without him.
it's weird. And
So
why
if they
I'm like,
recast her,
that'll be weird.
Yeah, I think at
What's
this
the
point,
point of this
it
movie?
just shouldn't happen.
yeah.
Or they should wait till they come to a compromise.
Yeah.
They should push this further than what they're trying to do right now. I don't think it's right at all. But we'll see. All right. So leaning over towards Sony Marvel a little bit. Reportedly, we're gonna be getting a Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer during the Super Bowl, and it's gonna be a rated R movie.
Pretty pod,
If
can't
this
lie.
happens,
Murder.
A rated R, you're a whole movie too late. But we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be a little bit better than the first one.
It's still a dumb title, but
Let There Be Carnage.
yeah.
What do you mean? It's
Yeah, it's pretty cringe.
perfect.
They should just named it Let's Get Some Venom. I'd be down.
Let's get to
Venom
break.
2, Electric Boogaloo. There you go.
I mean, they could have went the alien route, Venoms.
Venom.
I would have been okay with that.
No,
too.
Venom. Okay, Venoms with a Z.
Yeah, I would've
Venom
been okay
without
with anything,
Eminem
but
this time.
Let There Be Carnage, or like Venom versus Carnage. Because I feel like at this point, people know who Carnage is. Like, come on, there hasn't been a movie about him, and a lot of people.
Carnage has hair this time. How about that? Okay.
Oh God! All right.
All
Anyway,
right,
Hairy
next-
Carnage.
next,
Carnage. of a
Carnage,
goatee.
but
Oh,
weird, and I don't like it.
same universe. Morbius has been delayed until October 8th,
Let's
2021.
go.
Maybe they'll just get rid of it.
The only
Woo!
downside is that this is an indefinite delay.
Exactly.
Or cancellation.
Unfortunately, we still have a release date.
Yeah, which is October 8th, which is
Oh.
weird because I feel like Venom was supposed to release that day too. which
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. This whole universe over here is slowly progressing downhill, mostly because they can't use Spider-Man, or we
It's
don't know
like
what their
the-
plans are.
It's like Dark Universe. I don't know if you remember that. Eric.
Yeah.
It's
The
like
Mummy-
that. Yeah.
The Mummy, I Frankenstein, Dracula, they were all separate parts of the Dark Universe that got
Now they
canceled
stopped.
right after. That's great. Blumhouse, take control. All right. Next, Netflix has released like a trailer. So apparently it's a trailer for their movies that they're going to release, and they're all original ideas for 2021. And it's a lot of like big named people being in these movies, and it is said that it's going to be at least 71 original films for just
Jesus.
this year.
God.
That's
Which it makes sense because in the long run, they raised their price within the last year. They took away their free trials, so they canceled a lot of stuff. So in the long run, I see
We are your cable now.
it for real.
Isn't it like something every week or something new every week?
Yeah, but I feel like if you have 71, that's what almost at
That's
least
more.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
1.5.
like 1.25
Yeah.
more like.
But they're still going, you know what I mean? Like there's probably still filming stuff as the year progresses. Who knows when they're going to release it?
I'm actually
It's
really
like every 5 or if they release it like on like a scheduled basis, that'd be like a new movie every like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I'm
a
really
crazy.
excited for this.
yeah,
Let's
Let's
it looks
do
good.
the math.
I'm ready.
'Cause
Okay.
Calculator, where are you at? Woo! 365 divided by 71. 5.14 days.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be every Friday for them. Actually. All right.
Yeah,
the
Next.
trailer we got was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Do you see all the people that were actually in it? I was
Mhm.
like, wow. Next, so we're gonna move on to gaming a little bit and consoles and things of the sort. So, the Nintendo Switch has sold as many units. What in 2020?
This is all 2020.
Yeah.
All right, has sold as many units in 2020 as the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and the S, and Xbox One all combined, just in the 1 year.
And they
Which
deserve it.
Get wrecked.
God
Actually,
Damn.
That's
They
ass.
deserve it.
And
Y'all-
that's with
How?
hating their fucking people.
How?
Let's go.
How is
everyone in that
ass?
company deserves a raise, and everyone in the other companies deserve to die. Honestly,
that
Not-
when I saw this and it
All right,
included
Eric.
next gen and it was everything combined, I was
Sleep
like,
it
okay,
up.
maybe it was like one of them individually, but it was
Like
old
maybe
gen
PS4,
and
Xbox
next
Series
gen
X.
combined.
How many? Wait, do you have the number on how many Switches were sold during 2020?
I don't know how many Switches. I started looking up some numbers. I know that over 3 million PlayStation 5s were sold. That was the one number that I had. But I could start looking up a few.
Jesus Christ.
Like, because that's ridiculous. Because the Switch has been out for like what 3-4 years now. Like, I get it outselling just the PS4, PS5, or PS4 and Xbox Series X, or not the Xbox One. Sorry.
You mean
But,
like one
like-
from each section, but not the
Well,
entire?
no. Like, maybe selling out PS4 and like Xbox Ones because the new gen, so people don't care about them
Yeah.
anymore. But like, all 4 of those combined.
Well, didn't PS5 have like a limited run
They
during
still
2020?
Okay, so PS5 was 3.37 million. X Series X was 1.8.
In 2020, Nintendo Switch has already sold 6.92 million units in the U.S. alone,
That's-
Oh,
and that's
That's pretty
just
crazy.
the U.S.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
safe to
insane
say, I'm
numbers.
getting a Switch.
Yeah,
I mean, at this point, it's the only thing with games that's like
Yeah.
still gonna have games coming out
yeah.
because PS5 and Xbox X and S like are gonna have games, but they're not there yet. You have Cyberpunk, and that game's
Well-
broken.
We can get into that in a minute because that's technically not true.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah.
All right. So I would say that's a big yay.
That's
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Take those.
It's a yay for the bonuses of the CEOs and upper people.
For the
honestly.
employees.
That's
Yeah,
really
the people,
what it is.
the people who hate their fans.
That's
Hell
really what
yeah.
it means. All right, next. Square Enix has trademarked a couple of what would you say? Phrases, words.
Phrases,
like names and
and
logos.
Logos.
Yeah, names
All
and
right,
logos.
so those include Ever Crisis, The First Soldier, and Shinra logo for Final Fantasy VII Remake, the continuation of whatever they're doing over there. Antonio, you go into it more than I can.
Okay, so for me, this is more than just that. So we already knew we're getting a part 2 to the remake because it's not fucking done. Story isn't over. But from what they are trademarking, it shows that they're going into more than just the continuation of the remake. This suggests like going into
Insinuating.
suggesting that we're going into prequel stuff, going before even the original prequel that came out, Crisis Core, maybe even remaking that, but going before that with the First Soldier, referring to probably Sephiroth and like his like actual backstory, and maybe even making a game about that. So that's why that's important for that.
Maybe. Who knows? They just trademark stuff.
Potentially, possibly.
Yeah,
It's just
but
trademarks.
Yeah.
Trademarks are important.
Yeah.
Like
I
they
mean-
accidentally reveal shit that you kind of don't.
This
They don't
is
want
this
them-
is
you
this
don't
is how this is how Japanese companies work. They don't tell you shit until it's out.
Yeah.
The
Have you
day
not
of.
have you not
Have you
seen,
not seen
Smash
Smash?
with fucking DLCs? Oh yeah, so like this character is like, he's gonna do this, and he's out today.
He's out right now. It's just like, what?
In fact, if you guys look under your chairs,
You'll see the DLC right there.
It's like, it's
Terrible.
like by tomorrow, I mean like 4 hours, you have the character.
all right. So big win.
That's a big one. That's a
Yes,
big-
I will say so.
I mean, I wouldn't say a big win. Maybe like a moderate win. Like,
Hey,
don't know
they're
what
doing
they're-
We'll give it a mild
here.
success.
Okay, no. We're giving it a win because they're actually doing shit with Final Fantasy VII. Because that's the
A
only Final
mild
Fantasy
success.
anybody cares about anymore.
Is this the one with Tifa?
Yes.
Alright, so
Yes.
I don't care.
mild
They nerfed her.
success.
I don't care. They nerfed her.
Yeah,
I
but
wanna
they
fuck up.
upgraded her abs, and that's all that matters.
Nope. I don't care. I don't care about abs. You know what I
Just
care
like,
about.
yes.
You know what I'm here for. All right. Go
All
ahead.
right, straight up. Out of lightning
right,
round,
so-
we're headed into straight up.
Oh god.
big news from Lucasfilms. I think this might have existed at one point.
Yes,
but
they were originally called Lucasfilm Arts.
Lucasfilm Arts, but now they're back and even better than before as
They got
Lucasfilm
money.
Games with money.
They got money.
Yeah.
And they
Yo.
announced several things, like they were going to be working with Bethesda to make a brand new Indiana Jones game with an original story, which I think is really interesting. And my man, the man, Todd Howard, is set to be the executive producer, which I'm very excited for, because hopefully we can just get Skyrim, but it's rebranded this time instead of re-release.
God.
can't
Star
wait.
Wars.
I think this is also a even bigger deal, is that since it's Bethesda, this is very likely not going to be going to PlayStation. I don't
gonna be
think
like
it is,
Xbox,
and I
PC
think
only.
it shouldn't.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that Xbox or like
I mean-
Microsoft needs to like put their hand down. It's like Bethesda's making
They
this.
bought
We own
Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Does
You're
that
not
include
getting
PC
this.
or not?
Yes,
Yeah.
because
Oh, okay.
because
Microsoft.
Sony is really dumb. I don't like Sony anymore because they still, for some ungodly reason, haven't created an answer to the Games Pass. And I think the Games Pass is something that's going to really hurt Sony if they don't make one, because the Games Pass is like, it's actually unbelievable the value you get with Games Pass. Like the backwards compatibility that you get with it, like just even it's like $10 a month, and you get like over 100 games. I
Over
think.
hundreds of games. You get discounts on most games in this game store.
And this ad is sponsored by Microsoft. Thank you,
Yes,
Microsoft.
we love Microsoft.
No.
It's not. It's
No.
not.
It's not,
No.
but I'm just saying that like
This is
God.
not.
So,
sponsor
it
anything.
could be.
And And they even had a thing
We
where
could get in
like
trouble.
Game Pass was like $1.
Nice, dude.
yeah,
For your
and there's,
first
like,
month is
deals and
$1.
whatnot, and it's
First month's
just like
$1.
That's for like
This
Game Pass
going-
Ultimate too.
yeah,
Yep.
and this goes and because with Xbox and you can play it on PC like whenever, and it goes between both of them. I think that's a really big deal for like because I mean PC is just it's bigger than the console. And so consoles need to be able to like outside of like the Switch, but like I think Sony and Microsoft are going to end up needing to rely on a PC compatibility. And I think Microsoft has already gotten the message, but Sony just hasn't for some reason. And I think they're kind of stupid for not getting that message.
Yeah.
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 They
Yeah.
got
I
too
thought you were
quiet.
gonna say something.
That's
They
No.
about
got too quiet.
I didn't know how to transition to the next thing.
I
But-
mean, I'll just say, just to play devil's advocate, exclusives aren't like a bad thing, but I do see what you're saying because like the whole point of exclusives is to like drive the market and to make sure like okay, people are still gonna buy PS5s, but at some point it just gets really annoying and it's just what's the point
because
if
you have
like
to pay. Because why
nobody
would
else-
I pay a couple $100s for a PS5? I don't even remember how much the online is because you're gonna need that too for certain games.
60.
$60
For a
for a
year.
year, and then you're
That's same
paying
as Xbox.
yeah, then you're paying $60 for each individual game that you want. Where you could get, you know, an Xbox, same things, a couple $100s, but they're cheaper than the PlayStation, so you're saving money on the console itself, and then you just buy Games Pass, which is only $10 a month, and you get all these games, and then you can take all of those games on your Xbox, and if you also happen to have a PC, now you have those games on your PC too. And so it's just like it's literally just there's at this point like why would you ever buy a PlayStation? Because you're just going to be losing so much money. It's literally down to the point on who has
Yeah,
bigger.
you're lingering on something else right now.
I just want to talk.
I mean,
Next one.
to be
I
fair,
get it.
he do be spitting facts.
I
Right
get
now,
it,
like-
but he just started lingering.
I really
on
like
the whole
just
console
shitting
war
on
with
stupid
PC
people
war right now.
because they're
I
stupid.
get
I mean,
it.
that's
And they need
part
to
of
know.
it. It's Bethesda, so bringing up Bethesda, you got to bring up the fact that Microsoft just bought it and they're finally
Like
able to exercise their
They're
their power
exercising
with
their
it.
power.
Utilize. I hear you. I'm in
Yeah.
a big word.
That
But in other-
conglomerate needs to exercise their power.
Exactly. Yo, that's Pog.
Okay, so another Lucasfilm Games announcements was a new story-based open-world Star Wars game being created by Ubisoft, which it's the team from the Division 2 is creating this one, which I'm excited for because Division 2 is
I'm
a
excited.
pretty good game, honestly.
Who are the devs?
I liked it.
Division 2. They're from Ubisoft.
They
I forget
use
what
Oh,
branch
okay.
of Ubisoft they're from Ubisoft, but it's the same people who made the Division 2 are making
No.
this game.
I like the combat no matter what, but I was gonna be like, if the game is covered base, I think that's gonna be weird for a Star Wars title.
Well,
No.
apparently
But
they were hinting that it's Mandalorian based.
If that's the case, then the cover's
No.
fine.
I know what
No.
image you saw, Eric. That's the
Well, no, somebody was hinting at it, like saying
who
apparently.
was.
I saw it, and I was.
I'm saying because we
I just don't
talked
remember.
about. Tones, do you remember a long ass time ago when we were talking about Disney games?
Yes.
I brought up the fact that there was a game called Star Wars 1313. You remember that?
Wait, I know
Not
what you're talking about.
specifically.
That's an old one.
That's it's a very old concept that it
Very
was
old.
originally like a
Rest in
Uncharted
peace.
kind of Star Wars game set in Coruscant in the lower levels.
Mm-hmm.
But it was George Lucas got a wind of it and he's like, why don't you make it Boba Fett? And then they changed it and then he sold the company to Disney and then they canned that completely.
Yeah,
So
that was a shame.
I don't think this is that, even being an open world.
I
but-
honestly, I see it. I could see it being that. I could see this being the
Yeah,
resurrection.
it could
of
be.
1313.
Who worked on? Let me see who worked on that. Because I don't know, maybe that'll make a difference or not. But like, I think a lot of people really liked that game, or like the idea of the game. But yeah, I think that's a kind of a good idea to go with, but I don't know if they're gonna use that. But like, hey, you can take our ideas that we made for
Yeah,
For that
Bambi
episode.
Simulator.
I mean,
Woo!
It could go like literally anywhere because
Yeah.
don't like there was all they said was like story based. It's gonna be open world.
open world.
It's made by Ubisoft, the same guys who made the Division 2.
So it just sounds like
That was
Division
pretty
2,
much
but
it.
with blasters.
Honestly, I'd be down for that. Division 2 is pretty cool.
Division
Just
2 is
replace
pretty
Washington D.C. with Coruscant.
All right, what's next up, Patty?
Okay, so next up, this deal has kind of been going on for a little while with Take-Two and EA, like in a bidding war for the studio called Codemasters. They're the people who make the F1 series. There's probably other stuff that they do, but that was like the big thing that they've made is the F1 games. And Take-Two Interactive, if you don't know, they're the people who own Rockstar, and that's all you need to know. They
'Cause they're
pulled
Rockstar.
out their bid to buy Codemasters, which basically made it so that way EA is now the only person who is left in this bidding war, which means that they're probably going to be buying Codemasters like any day now. And this is very, very important for EA because they just lost two of their biggest exclusive licenses that they own, which was Star Wars and the NFL.
Right.
I mean,
Star
they-
Wars, good thing.
Star
I'll
Wars
just
is
point it
very good because I'm pretty sure they've literally only ever made one good Star Wars.
Lego.
No, Fallen Order, but okay.
Even then, Fallen Order was it had some issues with the gameplay. It has a lot of glitches at the beginning.
It was the only decent game they ever made.
Yeah.
And the NFL games have sucked for like God knows
Bro.
how long. Actually,
Bro, this new game sucks.
I mean, yeah, it's the same game. It's basically been the same game for like the past 5-6 years.
Try
Forever.
15. Try
Yeah.
15.
But unfortunately, they only lost their exclusivity. They didn't lose the entire license to use.
Which means
Technically,
they're
they
probably
can.
gonna pay less.
Yeah, no. They literally said, they tweeted out, "We're still making Star Wars games," and I was like, "That's unfortunate," because I wish people. Were.
Yeah, there is a little bit of there could be a thing being worked on with the voice actors from Battlefront 2, but I don't know if it's developed by EA or if it's a separate company. That's a secret, so I don't know.
Yeah, they said we look forward to continuing our partnership with the Lucasfilm games, and then they said we're making more Star Wars games, and that is a tragedy. That's kind of sad, honestly. 'cause
Yeah.
they shouldn't be
Don't
making more
like
Star
that
Wars
one.
games. But I I don't know if Codemasters buying them is going to help because I mean, racing games aren't necessarily that big. I want to see what else, or if it's literally just
All I see is racing games. They made Overlord in 2007. Operation Flashpoint. Hold on. This is different.
they really. I mean, like in the past 10 years, the only games they've ever made are racing games. So it's literally just a racing
Yeah.
game studio.
But I say in the early between 2000 2010s, they're making shooters. But
Yeah, but like now they're just making racing, which that one they will own that exclusively. So that would be. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it.
You're like,
I feel bad for
guess.
racing game. I feel bad for
happens.
racing game fans. Sucks to be you guys, because now all your games are going to be garbage.
yeah,
Don't worry, it's not our games.
or they can play cricket too because
I don't know. It was kind of like weird to see like this. It was like strange because it was like a really big bidding war. Like there were a lot of people involved, and then it just eventually got whittled down to Take-Two and EA, and Take-Two kind of gave up at like the last minute.
They said, "Do we really want this?" No.
I think it's just people trying to like a lot of the
Up the
big
bid.
like holding companies are like trying to get as many smaller studios as they possibly can, just to like basically like own bigger portions of the market because like independent studios they're like more and more now are just getting bought out by bigger companies. Like they're still holding like they're still like the developers are still just like their own, but it's not like they're being owned by publishers now. Instead of
Yeah.
like working with them, they're being owned by them.
So the Disney method. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, basically.
yeah.
Yo,
Oh, that makes sense.
Buy the dev studio now. You
Just
own the
close 'em.
developers. Yeah.
Yo.
So now you get to sell all their games, get all the money. You just gotta hope you get the right publishers. Honestly, I kind of wish Take-Two had gotten them. Because they could have just, I mean, Rockstar is just like literally infinite money. EA has finite
top
money
grossing
because
thing
they don't
of
make
all
good games.
time.
Yeah, but
That's
do
a
you really
fact.
want to wait 6 more years for them to start GTA?
Yeah,
It's gonna take that long either way.
Yeah, it's gonna take that long.
No, it's gonna be 6. We're gonna start again in 6 more. Is what I'm saying. We don't want that to happen.
I guess.
You worry too much.
I do. I want GTA 6 now.
All right, so we have finished up straight up news. Now we're gonna be heading to the topic. Like I mentioned up straight up at the top, we're gonna be talking about Soul. So why don't we give a brief synopsis of the film? Tones, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Shit, I wasn't ready for this, but okay.
Well, I'm saying because this was your one of your most anticipated.
That
If you don't
is
want to do it, I
fine.
can do it.
Nah, I got this. Okay.
Okay.
So the movie starts, and you meet your main character. His name's Joe Gardner. Okay, I'm doing good so far. I remembered his name. And he's doing his job. He's teaching middle school band, and you can tell he just kind of hates his life. But then he hears that there's this gig that he's like, okay, I'm gonna try to audition for the gig, and wow, he gets it. But then, literally, like 3 minutes after he gets it, not even, he
Not
falls
even.
into a grate and dies.
Quote unquote.
Half time.
No, not quote unquote. He died. They told him he dead.
Fucking
He
dead.
died. He was about to get snapped out of existence.
But instead of just passing on, he says, "No, fuck this," and goes on a crazy journey through life and the afterlife. So yeah, I think that's a good overview of the movie. Unless you want me to get more in depth.
Well, I was gonna say he's got a pal named 22.
Yes. So that being said, with that brief synopsis kind of giving you an idea, let's get into our favorite moments in the movie. And we're going to start with you, Dan, because you're the first on the list.
That's what I was gonna say. Are we just gonna do that? All right. Cool. Okay.
Yep.
So, as Tone said, he's trying to kind of get back to his life. So he goes on this adventure where he doesn't return to his body. Instead, his pal 22, his acquaintance, Jesus, gets trapped in his body and he becomes a cat. So in one we're gonna be talking about our favorite moments in this category right now. And I think my favorite moment is when they get back to his apartment and they're trying to figure out a plan, what they're gonna do for the gig and everything. There's a student of his whose name is Connie, and she is kind of not fed up, but at the beginning of the movie, you kind of see that she gets made fun of for playing trumpet very well.
Trombone.
And she's like, I'm not feeling this anymore. And then 22 in Joe's body has a conversation with her where she's like, I'm gonna give up. I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, all right, good. All right, do whatever you want. Just if you don't want to play, that's fine, whatever. And then Connie's like, actually, can I show you something? And in that moment, you kind of hearing Connie's solo, and then seeing 22's face. Kind of, I think that was one of my favorite parts, just because it sort of made 22 realize what Joe's been talking about the entire time. Because at the beginning, she's like, I don't like music. It's just straight up, I don't like music. And then hearing someone who thoroughly enjoys it and is good at it kind of made her more open to the idea of music. Or at least that was where the seed was planted later on for the film.
I think it made her understand, they would say, like, it planted the seed for her to, like, start understanding the point of living.
Yeah.
Because at that point, she didn't care about living.
At that point, you realized
that
that everything that was done to her, like, everything that she was taught, was just like them trying to cram in something to make her like it. Like, they were trying to force her into liking it. They weren't just like, okay, this is one way you can like them. This is another way. It's like, no, you have to be dead set. And you have to like this thing this one way. And everybody told her, even if it was a different topic, they all told her the same thing over and over again, pretty much.
Yeah, and I think just seeing the Connie play, I think I don't know, it was just a real nice moment where, like, she was bored, she had her hand on her head, just kind of like in that relaxed position, and then just kind of slowly, like, coming back to life. Like, her eyes kind of showed life a lot in that moment. Let's see if I can find a GIF for that, actually. Oh, we didn't do the GIF thing. That's fine.
Ah, shit. Hold on.
I don't think it's gonna be.
Shit, I gotta find GIFs.
Oh, well, they really have this GIF now. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, and it was just kind of like this, like, empty, like, staircase, which I thought was, like, a really... It was a nice setting for this conversation. I don't know exactly what I mean by that. It's kind of like... I guess you can kind of say it's like the steps to getting both Connie and 22 to appreciate music more.
I don't even know if it's, like, just music. I think it's just appreciating.
Well, yeah, appreciate life, but I meant
Like,
Connie
there's what you
specifically
can
with
do.
music.
Connie, it's like music, but I think
Yeah.
22, it's like shows her, like, that there's a point to living.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's like to enjoy something to your fullest.
Yeah, I think that's mostly what I wanted to say for my favorite moment. Who we got next? Is it Patty?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. There are not a lot of these gifts here.
Don't worry, I got you. Bam.
Hey, you know what I found? That same one.
Hey.
Okay, so yeah, I think my favorite scene was 22 was still in Joe's body, and this is like right before he's supposed to go to the gig, and 22 accidentally, like, rips Joe's pants on his ass, so he has to go to his mother, who's a seamstress, to get it fixed. But he doesn't want to go talk to his mother because his mother doesn't approve of him having a career as a musician, because I think his father was one too.
He tried it and then
he tried it and it didn't like work out, and she, like, didn't want him to try it too, and so she was, like, really negative about it. It just wasn't very, like, nice to him about it, and she kept trying to, like, get him to give up on it. And then in the scene, I think Joe's like telling her, like he like finally confronts his mom and just tells him like, this is what I was born to do, and like this is what I want to do, and that he doesn't really care about her opinion. And it's like ends like a really very, very wholesome ending to it, where his mother like finally sees that like she's not going to be able to change him, and that he's going to do this regardless, and like accepts him. It's very, very wholesome scene. Big fan.
Yeah, because like 22 kind of like.
She like kind of took over at a point.
Yeah, well, she kind of blurs out like in the moment. She was like, in the moment, everyone was like, you should not have done that, and then Joe then.
Yeah,
takes
22,
over that conversation.
22, 20, yeah, it's the other way around. Where 22 blurts out, like yells at his mom, and then Joe's like, "Well, I guess I gotta
we're
do
already
this
here."
now.
Yeah, well, I think, but that was good because it gave him that like no
shit.
going back
Here we
kind of
go
moment.
again.
Yeah, like forced him to like, yeah, like you have to confront
else is
this.
gonna do
You
it.
can't run away from it anymore. You got to deal with it now, and he dealt with it in like the right way.
Is there anything else you want to talk about that, or ready to go to Eric?
I think that's it.
So my favorite part was when 22 was in Joe's body,
Still.
and Joe, yeah, Joe is in the cat, and they got into an argument while Joe was trying to tell 22 to line up his hair, to look good for tonight at his little gig that he got going on, but ends up putting the clippers right down the middle of his head. So they
She
ended up
messed
going
him
to a
up.
barber shop. Yeah. And I want to say that the aesthetic of a barber shop in this movie is the most accurate thing I have seen in my life. It is like
It's
you
dead
go
on.
in.
Like it's
I wouldn't be surprised if they went to like a real barber shop and just recreated it.
I mean, they probably did.
visually, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, just like walked to a real
But-
one, drew it all out, went back, animated it like a real barbershop.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
But
it's more about the atmosphere too. It's
It
not
makes
just like the
feel-
posters.
there, you know what I mean? He cleaned him up. Joe, real nice, the barber, who is voiced by Questlove, which is really great. And he so 22 that's inside of Joe is talking to the barber for once. He's like, I've known this guy for years, and he's actually asking him, 22's asking the dude about his life and what's going on and stuff like that. Actually, like, gets to interact with a person other than, like, I guess his mom. So she's like feeling life and what it's about and stuff like that. And like at the end of the whole conversation, he's like, how come you never talked like this before? He's like, because you never asked. So it just makes like the whole thing worth it
Mm-hmm.
for Joe, because Joe's learning stuff, because Joe's in the cat, because the cat's everywhere Joe is now, because it is Joe. And they were cracking jokes in the barbershop, and like it was actually, they looked like realistic people, not just like Pixar people or any other like Disney person. They had tattoos, you know what I mean? This dude had a big beard, which I can relate, And then like it was a good atmosphere all the way around.
And I think it was also a good point to have a moment of like, let's just step back.
Reflection.
Yeah, exactly. Step back, relax, and reflect on what's been happening. And I think that was definitely a sequence that was super important to the movie, not just because of the message, but just
It was
kind of like taking a step back and looking at life.
It was also the point that like Joe started to question like the whole idea of being born to do a set thing. Because
right,
he was like, oh, this guy was born to be a barber, but he's like, no, that's not what I wanted to do, but I love it now, but it wasn't what I always wanted to do.
What did he want to do?
Want to
Forget
be
what
a
it was.
vet?
Vet,
Yeah, I want to be a
veterinarian.
Yeah.
some kind of doctor.
Want to be a vet, but
Veterinarian.
like it was hard to be a vet. It was hard to get the money for it, so I ended up.
Well, because he went to
doing-
the Navy or
It was
something, right?
cheaper.
He could
Oh
have
yeah,
he couldn't afford veterinarian school, but he could afford barber school. So that's where he went. I think something like that.
And
Close to
22
that.
finds out her love for lollipops in this sequence,
Yeah.
which plays into later in the movie.
And I liked like everyone's reactions to what 22's saying, even though she's speaking at like the when you say things like that, people are gonna look at you weird. But like she said it in like a way that relates to everyone. Like, don't you ever feel like something about the universe and yourself? Like it's just very relatable the way she said it. Yeah.
Honey.
Anything else you want to say, Eric, or you want to move on?
No, we
fuck
can
it.
move on.
All right.
It's my turn then.
Suppose.
So my favorite part of the movie was after Joe gets back into his body, and 22 goes back to the what is it, the before life, is that they called it,
Well,
the
it's
before plane.
where she is. Maybe isn't it the
She was
youth
a
seminar or
lost soul.
something?
I thought she was a
Oh
lost soul.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
She goes
Well,
back to.
She goes
Yeah,
back.
she had
Yeah,
become
she
a
goes
lost soul.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe ends up going to the gig that he booked, and he ends up doing it, and he ends up playing very well, and he goes out and he just kind of I'm just gonna he ends up and he kind of just like goes out onto the street, and he has this like almost like confused and lost look on his face, and he just kind of thinking to himself like, I thought this is what I wanted, but like I thought I was gonna feel better. I thought this was everything I wanted, but I just feel like empty now. And he ends up talking to the one of the people he's playing with, and she's like, "Yeah, no, this is what you do. You come here, you do this every day, or you come here everywhere, whatever, and we keep on playing." And she's like, that's just how this is. She kind of tries to. I forget exactly what she said, but she kind of makes him come to the realization like this is definitely part of what you want, but it's not everything in life. Like you've been so focused on this one thing that you haven't kept your eyes open to everything else around you. And like with that realization, like she tells him to come back tomorrow for the gig, but like he has this kind of idea that okay, this isn't all that I need to do, but it's definitely part of my life and part of what I want to do.
Yeah, he had thought that this, like, him performing was the reason that he was alive when that, like, wasn't the point of it. And it's like after he, like, finally gets to perform is when he realized, like, wait a minute, this isn't the meaning of life. This is a part of my life, but there's more to the reason of, like, the why I'm living. It's like
And I think
very
that
existential.
like, yeah, I feel like most Disney movies or even Pixar would just end on like, okay, he plays the gig, it's all good. But this movie doesn't do that, and I like that a lot. And I think that's all I gotta say about this one.
Lenny,
All right.
what was your favorite moment?
So, my favorite moment was this was when Joe, after Joe's gig is done, and then he goes home, he realized that he needed to go help 22. So he goes into, I believe it's the zone that he goes into, and he goes back to a character named Moonwind so that he can find 22. Um, and after a bit of 22's rampaging, he confronts 22, and after I don't know how to describe it. It was just him trying to comfort 22 and everything. But there's a point where Joe has gotten to 22, and then it brings a scene of like it's a white, background. It's 22 with Joe's body and Joe as the cat. Back in the previous scene that was there.
It was
they
when
were in.
he was sitting on the Joe was on the sidewalk. 22 was sitting on the like little steps for the place where he was gonna play.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and this is where Joe just tells 22 that he's ready to live. And that being having the last component you need to be to have the right to live, it doesn't mean that you need a purpose in life. and that it means that you've come to the realization that you're ready, you want to face the world for whatever it has for you. And I like how it shows that, because at first it's like even Joe's kind of like persuaded that it was because they needed a goal in life, they needed something to do. But after thinking about it, after doing the gig, and after realizing it for himself, that it's not what you do in life, it's whether or not you're ready to live your life and enjoy it to as much as you can, which is what 22 was doing in Joe's body. He was just having fun and just getting to know everyone in the world around him, which is why I like this as not the last scene, but as one of the last scenes we get to see 22. But 22 is basically comforted and persuaded that they are ready to live and ready to live the life that they want to.
Oh yeah, because in the moment, 22 is like, I'm scared, and I think that was really like a nice touch for Joe to be like, no, you're ready. It's like, you're fine. You're gonna be okay. I like that comfort.
I can't really think of anything else much to say. So
I mean, we can move on to the character now, which I feel like at this point, I feel like we probably should have done first, because it's the characters we introduced. But it's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. Fuck. All right. So, I will start with Joe. I think in watching this movie a couple times, I think I've watched it like 3 times since its release. I like the idea of Joe kind of like, I think the way Tones was saying, like, having this just illusion that the whole point of living, there's only one point, that's like what you do and everything. I like the idea of him having to go through this sort of crises to sort of understand what life is, and also like kind of like you're not there's not just one way of living, anything like that, and the way kind of Joe experiences that is different through obviously living through a cat, but like it's kind of, he's trying to be a mentor to a person that like, or an entity that I guess doesn't understand how everything is, and nor does he understand how to be a mentor until they both kind of go about their adventure and they learn more about themselves. I don't know, and I think I don't want to get too personal about this shit, but like I can understand where Joe is coming from, kind of feeling a little stuck and a little bit like this kind of feels the samey, and I need to change something in my life, and he goes on to do that. And when he realizes like, what was it, the tour that they were gonna have? Like it was the thing that Tones was talking about after the performance. It's a whole tour, right? Or is it just the performance?
No, it's just that it was
No,
just
it's
the same gig at the same
performance.
place.
Okay,
But
so I
they're
think
doing it again and again because
yeah, that's a really, like what you were talking about with Joe. Like that's a really like existential crisis, I guess. That like it kind of just everything repeats. You're like, what's the point of everything? Kind of, I have done the thing I wanted, but like everything's kind of repeating again and again, and it's gonna be the same, and it's not exactly what I thought I wanted, kind of thing. I don't know. I think Tones kind of said a good amount for Joe, so I don't want to keep going on about that. But like, I can understand. I can understand where Joe's coming from.
Shout out Joe.
Yeah. Also, yeah, Jamie Foxx did a really, really great job, in his performance. Like, there were some moments where he had like some genuine like laughter and some fun, teaching things to 22, both in the before and on Earth, kind of teaching her about like food and like like I guess some of the barbershop sequences and things like that. Or there's also another moment where his pants rips, and she's just 22 is just having like this kind of childlike wonder in Joe's body, where she kind of just in the grate with the air flowing up. She just has like that kind of like time of her life, and he's like, "Come on, we gotta go." And then he kind of realized like, "Oh yeah, this kind of seems fun. I should be doing more things like that." I don't know. I think that's all I'll say for Joe. All right, Patty, who you got? Who's
Now
man's?
let's talk about the man who single-handedly carried this entire movie on his back. Literally, no one even comes close to him. Obviously, I'm talking about my man, Harry. What an absolute legend. So if you're like oblivious
He's the
and or
antagonist.
blind, and you don't know who Terry is, maybe you weren't paying attention. But there's this thing in, the Afterlife, the U7R called the Jerrys. They're the losers, the lame ones, because they're not Terry. Terry is he's one of the Jerrys, but he's cooler, right?
So
And he's the one who counts all the
Yeah.
dead as they go from like the in-between area to the actual afterlife. And he also hunts those down who try to cheat death. And technically, when Joe like jumps off of the bridge to go into the afterlife, like sneaks his way back through, technically he cheats death, even though he wasn't really dead. Terry has to like hunt him down, and he just has like, I think some of like not like my favorite scenes, but I think some of the scenes that made me like laugh the most were when Terry was around, because he was just doing the stupidest things possible. But he tries to, I think it's right after the barber shop.
Yep, I know what you're talking
He's
about.
like waiting in like an alleyway, and he like sets up this like portal to like trap Joe like in the in-between dimension, and some random dude accidentally falls into it. And so
What's the
he
dude
just
that was at
takes-
the barber shop?
Yeah, it was a guy at the barber shop who's like being rude or something, I think.
Mhm.
And he just like literally falls out of that plane of existence into the other, like, into the in between. And then when Terry's like, oh no, I've made a huge
Whoops.
mistake. Don't worry, you know what? It's fine. We'll just take you on out, and everything will be okay. And then he puts the guy back into the real world, and he's like huddled in the alleyway, like shaking, like,
Traumatized.
Yeah,
Does he
just
say like watch out for the cholesterol or something?
Yeah.
Or no, something about chips. Yeah.
and it's just like, God, he's so great. And then when he's looking for the missing souls, and he's in like this massive like gigantic warehouse of like all these like filing cabinets, and he's just like very, very like quickly skimming through all the files. And at one point he just says, was something about there's a lot of Garcias. It was just like ever so slightly racially charged. I was like, damn, Terry,
What the fuck?
you're really just gonna say that?
Like I think
I
when
forgot
that
about
came
that.
up, we watched this like late.
This is
But,
like,
like-
later. We started at like 10, I think.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
Yeah,
when
it might
that
have been later.
it could be, but like in that moment, it was silent because we're watching and it's a giant like file cabinet thing, and he's just moving his fingers trying to go through real fast, and he just says that out of nowhere.
It's
He
just
just
completely
started-
out of pocket. Just damn, a lot of
There's a lot of
Garcias.
Garcias in here. I was like, on one hand, I'm like, as a Hispanic guy, I understand, right? There's a
Got
lot
a
of
point,
common
Terry,
names,
but
but
that's
like
that's not nice.
that really threw me off. I was like, what the hell?
So funny.
Oh man.
Oh, I think there was the at the very, very end when the Jerrys decided to give Joe like a second chance at life. They were like talking to Terry because Terry's got
yeah.
like all these like abacuses, like the
He's the accountant.
he's an accountant,
Yeah.
basically the accountant of like all the people, the souls, and they're like talking to him about how like I think like somebody got away, and he's just like immediately distracted. All of his attention, he's like freaking out, and then they just start like the Jerry just starts like flicking all the little things around just to like set like because Joe's technically had still cheated. So it was like his like number. He like had set the number off, and so the Jerry just like fixed it real quick, and then they were just like, oh, you know what? Never mind. And then Jerry was just like, oh, okay, good, all right, cool, good. And he goes right back to it, and he just doesn't even notice. I just like to, I don't know. He was a funny character. I was a big fan.
His design also was unique.
Yeah, because he like looked a little like, I mean, the Jerrys all looked like a little bit different from each other, but they were kind of like a similar structure, whereas like they were like taller and like skinnier, whereas Terry was like very short, kind of wide.
Kind of reminds you of an Italian grandpa, like, you know, just short and fat.
Yeah, something like that. Terry, the people's champion.
All right, Eric, you ready?
Yes, sir. All right. So my favorite character was the highest person in any Pixar movie ever. His name is Moonwind.
Moon.
I was gonna say Moon River. I'm thinking about.
It's not Moonshine. It is Moon River. Is it Moonshine or Moon River?
It's Moonwind.
Moonwind.
Those are both things, though. Jeez. It's Moonwind. So Joe and 22 meet him in, what is it?
Oh, I got you.
Where the Lost Souls are, and what the fuck is it? Where you can get in the zone. So basically, him and like, I forget the other two's names.
It's like three other people.
There's like three other people, and they were like all in the zone. But the thing is, in real life, the reason why he was in the zone is because he's like flipping signs out on a corner for like a store, which like made no sense whatsoever. Like, you're in the zone for that. Don't get me wrong, he was flipping the hell out of the joint.
No, but I feel like until you realize what his actual purpose was.
Yeah. Well, he just like had to help Joe get back to his body, but that's how they ended up with 22 inside of Joe's body, and they went to go find Moonwind, and then that's when they found him flipping signs. But he
you can tell what's up with him.
I don't know if he was on like drugs or this man was just like, he was definitely
vibing.
He was going off in the 70s. I know that for a fact. Like, there's no way.
He had in the 70s. He had a phenomenal time.
Bro, he's definitely from
He
California.
was at Woodstock. That's all we're saying.
He's from
Yeah,
California.
Woodstock, yeah.
60s and 70s. He had a great time. After that, he's had not such a great time.
And once again,
But damn, can he flip a sign though?
he has a great beard. You know what I mean? He has a little mustache thing going on. All the people I like have
I've had beards.
great beards. But he just helped with the progression of our characters, and
I was saying
he was just naturally funny. To me, it was naturally funny. Who's next? I'm fine.
Tones.
me. Okay, so the characters I chose were in Patty's words would be inferior, but I just chose the Jerrys in general. Not really because of their character, but more so because of their character design. Because I just thought it was really interesting how they pretty much made the idea, like pretty much in this movie, gods, just like really flowy, just like probably were drawn with like a single line.
Yeah.
And like they're pretty much just like, I don't even know how to explain it. Just like the omnipotent beings are just like smudges that kind of just like morph and can change into like pretty much whatever like shape they want to. They kind of just like, in my eyes, they stay in this form just because it's like the closest things to humans they can get. So they kind of just do that to like blend
what
in.
do they actually look like?
I think they're just blobs.
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, they're just blobs that can just like, because even when Patty didn't mention it, but when Terry was like going on his fucking ninja hunt, he would like blend into like the fucking surroundings. He just become like crevices on like windowsills, or just like he became a stop sign at one point. Like he just like
no, he was
formed around it.
He became the walking
the
sign.
walk symbol.
Traffic light.
And he became an art museum logo for like
so
a
they
hot
can just
minute.
change into whatever shape they want. But like, I just like that idea for like the godly beings just like being formless entities that just do what they want. And that's pretty much all I want to talk about. Character design, am I right?
They turn into a car like the Jerry's. I
like-
mean,
They turn
Really,
into animals
whatever
that held
Jerry and
souls
Terry
in.
wants to be, they'll just do that.
They just do it.
They don't care.
It is what it is. All right, Lonnie.
So for my favorite character, I have 22. Now, for me, I like 22 because at first they were just I can't swear, can I? They were just really sassy to the point where they pissed off like every like global icon there was.
yeah.
Like imagine
Yeah,
pissing off Buddha. Like
There's a Buddha,
Abraham
Lincoln.
Lincoln, Gandhi,
Gandhi, yeah.
fucking
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Queen, Marie Antoinette,
Oh.
Mother Teresa. God, I forget the rest. But those are
A
the
lot
ones.
of
Those are the big ones I
extremely
remember.
influential people.
Yeah.
Like extremely influential, and
She
she
just
managed
didn't
to she just said no. She got them all angry beyond recognition, and I feel like that's just such a character. She's just like not careless, but like she just doesn't want to. She just doesn't see the point in it at first. But then she has a bit of a journey with Joe, and she gets to go through life in his shoes, literally.
Mm.
And then through all the experiences that they have through Joe, they then got like the final piece they needed to become a soul ready to move on into actual life. And I find that in itself interesting because just how character development, I don't know how to exactly explain it.
Oh.
That's
I'm
not
just
the
reading
words.
her trivia, and I forgot that she said she sounds like a middle-aged white lady because it's the most
Okay.
annoying voice she could think of.
I mean, she is voiced by
See?
Tina Fey.
Yeah, like
I keep wanting to say she, and I'm like, I can't.
It's technically
Stop.
an it.
Yeah, it's
But
technically
she-
it, which is
That's
why
the
I'm
only
trying to
reason
say
I
they.
would say it's she is just because of Tina Fey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of trouble trying to stop myself, but
Just
I
keep going.
digress.
Use pronouns. It's okay. It's a safe place.
I'm gonna say it now.
You can say
Oh,
they.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't say it. It's like they.
yeah, it sounds.
Don't do that either.
It's
It
just
sounds
me.
like there's a
Yeah.
group.
I had to really think about
I'm
it for.
kidding. I'm kidding. I was kidding.
I mean, or you could just
But-
keep saying 22.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Where's
That
that?
works.
I just
Yeah, whatever.
I just like 22's development. 22's development was like probably one of the most drastic developments I've seen, and it really put together like the purpose of the movie. That's really all I gotta say about her.
Disney really decided, damn, we're doing
Fuck it.
this.
Wait, I forgot when y'all talked about Joe. No, keep going. I'm fine.
If you want to add something, I can just put it back
I
in
don't
there.
know.
Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to interrupt Lightning. I thought he was cute.
No, I'm done.
Keep
Go.
going. Oh, okay.
Now you're
I got
going.
this favorite. My bad. I got this favorite YouTuber I watch, and I swear to God,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
say he looks just like Joe, he looks just like Joe. It's so hilarious because he's been talking about it on Instagram and everything. They got the same like head and shape and like face
Oh,
and
this
everything.
guy.
I just don't know what to do. Yeah, yo, he looks just like him, and I.
Do
I
you want to
hate
say
it.
who it is?
Yeah, his name is Burleezy. And if y'all don't know who Burleezy is, look him up on YouTube, and I promise you, they got the same forehead, the same. I think they got the same
Same
type
eyebrows.
of head.
Wait, how do you
He
how do
had
you say?
no eyebrow. He don't have no eyebrows.
How do you?
That's
how do
what
you-
it is, dude.
what's his
Burleezy.
name? Bur-
Burleezy.
Or L, yeah, whatever.
Non-existent eyebrows. I didn't notice that. That's funny.
Oh my god, he really is just so good.
Yeah. This is-
Oh no! Wait a minute. I was gonna say, isn't he the guy?
Yeah.
It's kind of bad
guy.
though.
That video's been going around a lot. I've seen it.
Okay, yeah. If everyone,
Okay, I see it.
Oh god. Yo, he's good bad though.
Ross?
Ross? Oh man.
Ah, shit. Here we go
Played
again.
me like a damn fiddle.
Yeah. He's like one of my favorite YouTubers. He's hilarious, but he looks just like him. Oh my god.
all right. So now we're gonna move on to cinematography. All right. So my sort of favorite piece of, well, it happens twice, but like I am more realized in the beginning, the second time around, in the where Joe is in the zone, kind of like, in his audition while performing, he has this moment where doesn't know what they're playing. He's like kind of lost for a second, and then he just starts going at it, trying to like closing his eyes and just kind of feeling the moment, and he kind of forgets everything in the room. He forgets, all the other instruments in the moment. He just keeps playing and improvising every other note that he hits, and like the whole room just switches to this very like bluish purple violet tones. And it happens later in the movie, a couple of times, seeing everyone in the zone when Joe and 22 visit the place, and even again Joe goes back into the zone later in the movie. But it's just that the colors very. I think if you take this shot and you put it into a shot of like a very early Pixar movie like Toy Story or something like that, there's some real clear like changes and like improvements that they've made, and I really like those colors that come out of the zone. Yeah, I don't know how else to phrase it, but just like those kind of like in the zone moments, it really has a nice look to them. Very like,
Tranquil.
yeah, like those, because those tones are normally like, those are very cool tones, or the blue ones. But I think the purple's what clashes with it and like makes it like very like nice to look at and everything. Let's see where it happens. Oh, so it happens when Joe goes back to rescue 22. But yeah, it just feels like relaxing tones kind of thing. That's all I think I have for that. So Petty, take it away.
All right. So I think my favorite, I don't even know, like frame it, cinematography. I don't know. I guess I'd say scene is when Joe has like met 22 and is like trying to help her like find the reason for living, or her spark is what they call it. She takes him to this place called the Hall of Everything, which is like this giant, like infinite space full of like all different kinds of like hobbies, careers, like, everything that like anyone has ever done, and he just takes her like through all these little sections of like trying out new things, and every time like you think that she's gonna find it really cool because she'll like it's like shot where it's like she's having a great time, and then it's over, and then Joe looks at her like expectingly like, hey, this is it, right? And then she just gives him this blank face and it's just like, no, I don't like it. Or just, I'm bored, this isn't fun, and just like kind of slowly walks away, just like leaving him there like just like with like his hands out, just like, what do you mean? And I just like the way how it's just like it just goes from place to place to place, just like she's just literally not interested in anything.
And if I remember correctly, there was like when it goes place to place, like it's not that it's black and white, but it's just very like
The whole area is pretty much monotone.
Yeah, except
like
for
it's
the
in like
things that are
except for like what you're doing. What they're like doing is because I think at one point they're in like a lab or something, and she's like mixing like chemicals and whatnot.
yeah, or
And, like,
where she's painting the library.
Yeah, like the paint, the chemicals, like the books and whatnot, those are all in color, but like the tables, the walls, the floor, the ceiling, everything is in like grays and whites and blacks. It's very monotone, so there's like a lot of like very
There's like
obvious like
outlines.
contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's just like outlined, there's not a lot of detail to anything.
I think that's a really interesting kind of creative. Like it has. They could have gone a different route, but I think this is like a really nice, clear way to show the
Yeah, I like it
because
because
it pops out.
yeah,
Yeah.
it makes like the thing like the sparks or what like whatever like the reasons like or like the things that people do like it makes them like more like prominent. It makes you like think about like what like why like the reason of like living like what like how do people like figure out what they're meant to do.
Mm. Is that all, Patty?
Uh, yeah.
So Eric, what you
All
got?
right.
What you got, homie?
So we back to my man, Moon Twin.
You almost said something else again.
Yo.
Moon River. Yes, I almost said it again. Fuck. All right. So when they first meet Moonwind, they see him in the Lost Soul, where you find the Lost Souls. Which Lenny, I'm sorry, I'm stealing your shit. And that's where they first see him, and and they see him on a ship, and he's just cruising on the ship throughout the Lost Soul place, but there's literally no water there. But every
Oh
time
my god!
see it, it like highlights the bottom of the ship. From what I remember, I think it would like highlight with like a vibrant pink. If I
Was it pink or rainbow?
I don't
was it
know, but
pink or was it? I don't remember. Maybe I was just high.
I just realized the flags have tie dye on them.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, well, maybe it was just the whole ship. Anyways, was the bottom? It had.
that's
to
what
be
I'm
moving.
looking for.
Tripping. I can't be tripping. Dan has the whole movie pulled up.
Yeah, I know. It's such a great movie. Like, of course I want to watch it again.
No, fact that you
there's an
haven't.
anchor. There's an anchor to it. I don't think that it glows. I think it just floats. I don't know if there's any, like, any glow to it.
No, it leaves a trail. I remember that because when they chased 22.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you might be right. Yep. Yeah, you keep talking. I'll send it in.
I'm trying to think though. If I'm like if it was the bottom or if it was just the back. It just left vibrant colors of pink. I didn't realize it was tie dye neither. The sails, but I noticed that it was like that pinkish, purple, and I guess now blue. But the way like it left the trail behind and it just made it look so cool, and his soul looks funny. Like this. There was like a lot going on with his head for a little ass soul.
Yeah, I got like the whole mustache too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Giant
and
ass
with
hair.
his hair.
Who was his
too.
voice again? It was the
I
a
think it
British
was-
talk
yeah,
show
Graham
host,
Norton.
I think. Graham Norton. There you go.
Oh, Graham Norton.
Which that was unexpected. I didn't know
Yeah.
Graham Norton was in-
Yeah, that one caught me off guard.
All right, so there's no trail, like a light up trail, but it does leave
the whole
like
shit.
a yeah
Yeah, it
I
like
guess.
parts the like
That's
it's
the
like
the
sand.
sand.
yeah, it's like a sand kind of thing.
Okay, I thought I left that effect.
It like pushes it out to the side, so it like leaves a trail, but it's just
Yeah.
like
No, it doesn't
pushing
light
the
up.
sand out of its way.
All right, anything else you want to talk about him? Or
Nope.
the scene sequence? I think it has some really. It shares a lot of colors
I don't.
to
I
the
don't
to the
wanna-
zone.
I don't want to get into Lenny's. What's it called?
That's fine. But I'm just saying they just shares a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
All right, Tones,
Hello.
what's up?
So my favorite cinematography in this was when Joe in his soul form was falling into the great before, and I looked that up to remember what it was called. And so I literally like I pulled this up just so I could like rewatch it. I rewatched it before we started the episode, but literally right after the Disney Presents and all that, after all that fades out, you see him fall, and it's just a bunch of weird, like, almost like trippy effects, because he like falls into like, I don't know what you call it, maybe
it's like
like a
water.
It's like, it looks like water, but it's really just like a line, and then he just immediately like becomes black and white, and all you see is like different like brightness of like whites, pretty much out like different outlines of white just on black. And as he falls further and further down, like he'll get distorted at some points, because he's pretty much just like falling through the universe and is trying to simulate that. And I thought it was just really interesting how they decided to go with that, because it's just all I could think of when we were first watching it was like, this is really fucking trippy, and Disney's doing this.
Yeah.
Like it's just really weird, but I love it at the same time.
Like I don't. It is the same thing that you were talking about with like the Terrys or the Jerrys have, like, they're formed with just like it looked like they're formed with just the one stroke of a pen or pencil, whatever. I think it's a similar feel to this section that I just sent. That's like when you kind of see a very tiny, like, Joe coming down from the sky or above, whatever, and you just see these lines connecting, but they don't look like they make anything. They just it looks like that similar style. Like,
You
for
sort
them
of
to
realize
create,
like how insignificant he is.
yeah. Like, what do I
How
don't want to.
insignificant we all are in
Exactly.
this mortal realm.
Patty
Like-
gets it.
Really makes you ponder this plane of existence.
Why are we here? Just to suffer.
Also, we'll touch upon it later, but the music there was like,
Well, the music everywhere.
yeah. Well, I'm saying in that moment, because it's your first introduction to the Great Beyond, I guess, or the around there. But like he turns back into the blues, the color, I guess, as he goes down further. Anything else you want to say, Toes?
I mean, besides that, no, nothing really. I just really like it. I just like trippy shit like that, and I was really surprised that Disney went with that, or Pixar went with that route.
Mm.
I did not expect to see that in a movie meant for children.
All right, Lenny,
So anyway,
what's up?
my favorite cinematography was the I don't know if it's called like the Lost Soul place. I'm pretty sure it has a different name, but it's basically the place that's underneath the zone where people either get so lost into getting into the zone that they're in some kind of like
What?
augmented state where their soul is consumed by it. And hold on, I have a picture of it. So basically, souls can get trapped here and lost within the sand within the area. And I kind of like how it's completely monochrome. It's like I wouldn't say deep shade of blue, but it's like a shade of blue where it's very like mellow. It's not sad, but it's just like feeling of I can't find the word.
Like, you're stuck in this very monotone state of mind.
Yeah,
You-
you're stuck in
you-
this
you're
like
stuck.
stuck in one thing. There's
Yeah.
one scene where I believe Moonwind's ship like hits one of them, and the guy was like in a building doing like stocks. He was just counting
Yes.
stocks or something, and then he broke free of it. And he
Oh my
started breaking
God.
all the computers, which kind of like more confirms of like this is where people go if they're stuck on like something that they don't want to do or if they are not having fun doing. And I kind of like how they kind of visualized it in like the perspective of souls, where you're
Mm.
kind of just this monstrosity that's just stuck.
Yeah, those are. I think when we talked about it, the designs of that were so creepy to look at.
Yeah, and just,
Yeah, like the Lost Souls.
Yeah.
Oh, they are freaky things.
Yeah, I love them.
yeah. Well,
And they just sound weird too, because it's like I think
A
one of them
muffled-
got like yeah, it's like a muffled. So like they're like consumed
a
by
muffled
like, their
echo.
thing. But it's like it's whatever they're like repeating, like whatever they were like obsessed with, like that one word just over and over and over again, and then when they become a lost soul, that word just becomes like muffled to the point where it's just like this weird, really distorted
demon
sound
speech.
coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just really freaky.
Static Wells. Eric, do you have anything?
Yeah, I liked what's it called when 22 was messing with the dude that was in the zone and then said, "Oh, and the Knicks lost another one."
And
I
then-
was like, "What do I
I was
do?"
so yeah. She said I've been messing with this team for decades, and it just got to the guy messing with her. And the Knicks
Like-
lose another one.
It explains everything that has happened with the
God,
Knicks.
it just makes sense why they suck
Yeah.
so much for so long.
There's some real nice like inside jokes like that, or not inside joke, but just like some jokes explaining shit. That's really funny.
This is why your favorite team sucks.
some undesignated souls messing with it.
I did really
That
like how there were
sucks.
like a lot of like New York Easter eggs, like
Yeah.
hidden,
They did a lot of
like
ballsy
why the
stuff.
Knicks suck. I think by far the greatest one was the New York Pizza Rat got a cameo. It's a real one. That made my day because it's like some like kind of obscure meme, and it made it in to the final cut of this movie. That I love that. That made me so happy.
Truly
I
was a
love
gift
Pizza
for
Hut.
Patty.
It
He's
was.
still talking about it.
I can't shut up about him. I just love Pizza Hut.
And also the pronunciation
Just look at
of
him go.
oh my god.
He's hungry,
also-
man.
Right with the pizza on the New York subway.
They also talked about the pronunciation of was it the sandwich? Hold on, let me find it.
Gyro.
Gyro or
Gyros and gyros.
Yeah.
It's a gyro, but it's a gyro.
Yeah, because
Hey,
it's Greek.
bro.
It's good.
All right. Do you want to move on to the music now?
Yeah.
So this I'll tell you. I'll first say who composed what. So Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross composed the more the Great Beyond type of music where it just feels like trippy and everything like that. And John Baptiste, who is, I didn't realize that was him, but do you guys watch
That
What's his
sounds
face?
familiar.
Jimmy
very
Kimmel?
familiar.
No, not Kimmel. The other guy, Fallon. There's the wait, is it? Hold on.
Yeah, you're right.
No. It would no. I'm so
Conan.
stupid. That's it's Stephen Colbert. I'm fucking stupid. He's the pianist in the band. And he performed all the piano sections of the soundtrack.
Jamie Foxx didn't do it, which upsets me.
Or he performed all the not just the piano, but I guess he composed a bunch of other all the jazz stuff with a group. But I think he's the one who just brought them together. But like that guy has a really nice like at first when I because I looked up his name on Spotify, and I remember I have a song called Ohio with him, Leon Bridges, and Gary Clark Jr. It's a really like nice rendition of that song, and so with both the names out of the way. Actually, there's another one.
Questlove, probably. I know he did a lot with helping.
Who?
Questlove?
Oh yep. There's another person named Cody Chestnut.
That don't sound-
It's an original song. I don't remember where it was, but the song is called "Parting Way," so I assume it's towards the end. Yeah, and I think it was a good idea to bring in 2 to 3 separate people to do different parts of it, because I feel like Trent Reznor doing the jazzy bits doesn't fit, because he has a really specific sound. So bringing on different composers to compose different sections of the film, I think was a really, really nice touch.
Yeah, I think they went out of their way for this one and got a bunch of different consultants on everything because this is this is movies probably like far from what Pixar has done before.
Yeah.
This is way out there.
It's a very big leap, and they're also tackling like very
Deep.
like very
They're literally
deep and like
tackling
difficult.
the meaning of life
Yeah, like this
in a
isn't.
Pixar movie.
But like they made the what I don't want to say protagonist, but the main character African American. Like I think it's the first lead in what 20 something films, 22, 23.
It's 23, I think, or 22 because that's the name of 22.
Yeah, well, probably somewhere around there. But like that's a big step.
Wait, is
In
that
the right
why
direction.
they're called
Yeah,
22?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that.
Oh,
Ah,
that's an Easter
You know
egg.
Pixar and
Oh.
their
get
what's
it now.
So where does this movie fall into Pixar theory?
I think it explains a lot. Time
It
travel
does,
shit.
yeah,
So
and the-
like there was. Hold on, if you want to get into that, I'll
Wait,
just say
wait. So this is why the van's in Brave?
yeah, because the grandma, kind of she used the or I don't is it Boo who's the grandma?
yeah. That's
Okay,
what-
then Boo used like being in the zone to get back to that place somehow. I don't know the explanation, but that's what I heard.
I didn't realize. Oh my god, it already
Yeah.
happened.
I gotta look
That's
this up.
that's funny. So like,
Jeez.
what do you guys want to? What do you guys want? Your thoughts on the music?
Banger.
I sent
yeah,
the whole
I didn't
album.
think about it as deeply as you
Yeah.
guys, but like, I was a very big fan of the jazz. I was very happy
Jazz.
that was such a big part of the movie.
The piano pieces. Oh my god, that guy is so talented.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're
He's
fucking
so
beautiful.
good.
Yeah.
He's,
Like
Jesus
the
Christ.
first one where he's auditioning for the gig and he just like goes into it, and he's just like at first he's playing along with them, and then he just kind of does his own thing because she wants him to do a solo, and oh my god, it just hits, it just gets you.
When he like entered the zone in the audition, like I felt that God was so good.
God, I was 14 and that was deep.
Honestly.
I remember us talking. I want to say during or after the movie, how like jazz works really well for like the story and like the message of the movie or something. Because if
Yeah.
any other music genre, it probably wouldn't do as well. Or like flop, since jazz being in most cases soul music.
Mhm.
You know, as a
Probably.
person who listened to soul music for 12 years of my life, maybe more, I kind of like how they did this.
It makes a lot of sense for what they did.
I think even Tones, you said this like at the very beginning of when we first learned about soul. Like this is the best way to do this kind of movie.
Well, yeah, because I feel like with jazz, I feel like music is definitely a great way to go with the meaning of life. But I feel like jazz itself is just such like jazz is something that you play with like your heart and your soul.
Mhm.
Like whenever I think of jazz, that's what I think of. I think of like just like losing yourself in the music. Like it's such like I guess I would say it's sort of spiritual in a way.
I was gonna say it's a gateway
Yeah.
to the soul.
Yeah, like I feel like jazz is one of the most, like, besides maybe gospel, it's like one of the most spiritual types of music. And even
Mhm.
then, at some point,
Dude,
like it could be more than that, like depending on who's playing and like who's listening.
Yeah, because if you just hear the song I sent in, that's the song that when Joe's doing the audition, like just you can kind of hear the other instruments fade away, and just kind of him just really just enriched in the moment, just kind of playing what he feels inside, and I think that it really strikes gold right there. Well, not with just this song, but I mean like. Jazz and like in the
In
whole
general.
movie, yeah, like because his explanation at the very beginning when he was talking about like, oh yeah, my dad took me to a club and where they were performing, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be here. That's not what I want to do. And he just listens to the pianist kind of just giving it his all, and then he in that moment his eyes like open. They're like they like glow, and he's like this is what I've been looking for. That's this is the sound. Hey, yo, this is the sound you've been looking for. But like, it's just
Some smooth jazz.
It's really like
Like trains.
a great kind of idea to bring this kind of music in for the explanation. Anything else you guys want to say about the music outside of it being top tier?
I think they helped like introduce jazz music to a lot of new people who probably hadn't even considered or really listened to jazz music in the past
Oh yeah, dog.
Or ever.
or just ever. And I think that's a pretty big deal. So I feel like a lot of people are going to be really into jazz now, literally just because of this movie,
Yeah.
because of how high quality the music was. It's going to make people want to hear more.
I think this is one of my favorite soundtracks, and like Up is up there still, but like this and Up and Toy Story, Monsters Inc. like really nice soundtracks. But like this is on a whole other level. I feel.
When it comes to soundtrack, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. This this really speaks to the soul in all sense of the word. Is that it for music then?
I mean, I think that sums it all up pretty well.
That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to? All right. So this is the last bit that we will touch upon, the ending and what it actually means, or at least our thoughts on what it could mean and everything like that. And this is kind of we were gonna talk about this, but Lenny introduced the idea a little bit more. So Lenny, you want to talk about like when this kind of your sort of argument with Carlos?
Oh yeah. So we had a friend. We had Carlos. If he's been on. I think.
Yeah, he's been on a couple times. My cousin. Yeah.
And Carlos came up to us, says he doesn't like the ending. So when we watched the movie, I'm like, okay, this is the ending. And the ending is just him walking out the door, and then it fades to credits. And I like that ending.
Well,
Because
talk about 22 too.
There's a little
Well,
bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's that, but like,
That's
20
not the ending.
yeah, I'm talking about the ending. There's the part with 22. 22,
got you.
Lives their life. I'm not going to talk about that because that's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Joe and what he's going to do. And it's left
Well,
ambiguous.
there's both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you see
And-
more of what Joe could
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, you basically have an idea of what Joe will do, but you also left thinking like there's that gap that he has empty in his life because he can't just only do those, those nights doing those jazz nights. And you're left thinking like, what is he gonna do? And I kind of like it. It's just like he'll do what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just gonna be mean and be like, the way I put it is just like he's gonna find what he wants to do. So why are you bothering him when you go find what you want to do?
You said that to Carlos?
No, I didn't say that to Carlos, but I just thought of it.
In
Just
short,
like
wake the fuck up, sheeple.
There's, I think, but before that, like Joe's mindset at the beginning of that sort of thought process after he came back to rescue 22, it was like, I've done what I've always dreamt of doing, but like this moment is yours. It's all right to sort of live life. Because like 22 kind of taught him that, like it's nice to live a little. Don't have to like stress yourself out.
And I do like the fact that he's a teacher. They set that as precedence. Well, I do and I don't like it. We'll get
What's
after.
the don't? Oh, okay.
I don't like it because they don't put enough emphasis on it. I feel like he does not he's been a teacher and you can tell like, okay, he doesn't want to be one. But I feel like even though he doesn't like being a teacher, he's obviously touched, they show how he's touched two of his students, and they don't go into that, at all.
Well, yeah. Well, who's the other one?
Yes,
He touches Connie, and he touches the drummer in the Curly, who's also playing at the gig.
Mhm.
And that was the reason why he even got the chance to play the gig. But I feel like they touch on it, but they don't go into it enough. And I think that him being a teacher should have played a bigger role than it did. Because in my eyes, what I think happens is he continues being a teacher. He likes the fact that he touched 22 and or like that he
Gave her more.
he gave her
life
meaning.
lesson.
Pretty much
Yeah.
like showed her the reason like why life is so important and why it's worth living. And in my eyes, I want to see him go out and do that with more people. But I also see that he wants to continue doing the gig, so like he does both, and he's able to like juggle both, and that's how I see the movie ending. But obviously, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wish that that played a bigger part in it.
Yeah.
That's just me.
It's just I know it's like the final shot, but I just really like that once he steps into the portal, like strictly just cuts to him stepping out of his own door of his apartment instead of like adjusting and everything. It's just kind of like just a natural step into life again, both metaphorically and physically. And I don't know what kind of thing will be in the future for this movie, like in the sense like sequel. I don't think this necessarily needs one.
I
I agree.
It should not have a sequel.
It should not.
I think
Because
the
the
only
way it
way
ends-
go ahead.
Oh, you can go.
Oh, I was like, the only way they could really just go on to do another one is like talk about 22. But I'm like, we kind of already saw 22's experience, and like just gonna teach someone else. And I'm like, that's kind of what
Well, 22 wouldn't remember anything, right?
I don't know.
Because
It
he only
shouldn't.
remembers barely, yeah, because he actually went there when he was an adult. Like, you know what I mean? But that shit resets when they actually go down into a body and all that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Right, but like,
So-
what other way could you actually just go about it? I mean, there's really nothing to go about it.
I don't think we're gonna get one unless it's gonna be
They
about.
might do something weird where since 22 was on a body, 22 keeps all their memories, but that's weird.
I mean, she's like one of the first souls. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Yeah, we could just not.
I
They're
don't
not
think that.
Not-
If anything,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
do anything with 22. I think if anything, it'll be Joe.
Yeah, but we
That's
can also
even
just
weirder.
not.
It's gonna happen.
Unless
I
it's
don't
when
think
Joe
so.
actually dies and he becomes like an actual like person at the seminar.
I will say that's what I thought it was gonna be headed. Like I thought, like when Jerry was like, "Oh, everyone here, we appreciate you, what you're doing."
You
And
shall
we would
become a
have-
god.
I thought she was gonna say, or
Become
he was gonna say,
Jesus with us.
like, come into the family. I think you do a great job over here, and I'm like,
Become a Jerry.
One
that would
of
probably
us.
be the
One
second
of
movie.
us.
That's funny as how
Wait.
mediocre that sounds, when in actuality, that's just becoming God. It's just
Every
you, Jerry.
time
Become a Jerry.
I think about Jerry from Rick and Morty.
yeah, I know.
I can't like. No, I'm like a Jerry. Like, why would I want to be a Jerry? God. Can we get into the dark side of this movie?
What? That they legit let necromancy happen?
No.
Or the cat dying.
cat, bro.
That's fucked up.
They
They-
killed
they-
The cat soul wasn't erased though.
That's
But
that
if
is
the
really
cat
fucked
came
up.
back, which don't make sense, because wouldn't the count be off? Because the cat technically went into the great
The
beyond.
cat would be on.
that's
actually.
that's a
Remember,
fucking
they
that's
Jerry
a that's
did-
a that's a
Did
plot
Jerry
hole that
know?
we need
Did
to
Jerry,
fix.
Jerry distracted Terry and then fixed the counter? Maybe we should they just hit the cat too.
I don't know,
Probably.
I need a show about the cat. How it escaped.
Cat.
How
What
it
is so about
escaped.
the cat? How did that
A
cat
short-
escape the Vader belt? That is a
Thank
good point.
you. Thank
the
you.
cat should have been erased, but it came
Meow.
back.
Should have been fucking dedicated.
I still like to think like, man, they just let a soul die and come back to its body. They straight up let necromancy happen only because they let another soul have a chance at life.
You know, if you really think about it, Joe Gardner technically a lich.
Yo, that's fucking lit though.
Joe Gardner,
Joe Gardner is a lich. If
he's
you
a lich.
think
It
about
doesn't need a phylactery. He's just a lich. He just comes back from the Jerry's.
If you just think he a lich.
He is one. There you go. He a lich. We
He
said
just
it.
lives.
It's confirmed.
It's confirmed. Pixar lets undead
Jesus, in
into their
fact, said
movies.
so.
Is this movie set in New York, right? Right. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But Joe
What the
Gardner
fuck?
rumored to be in Spider-Man 3.
Stop that.
No. What we really need, I've got the solution. We put the cat's story, Spider-Man 3.
And then we see if we see the rat again.
And we see the
no.
cat.
We need a show about the cat and Pizza Rat.
Yes.
Yo.
We need a cola
Pizza
with
Rat.
Pizza Rat.
I'll
helps
call
the
it Pixar
cat
after this.
see.
I'm calling Pizza
Cat
Rat
so-
after this, dog.
Cat so goes into Pizza Rat's body. We
Need
need
some
that.
royalties, dog. More pizza. Okay, so if it doesn't need a sequel, is this a perfect ending to the movie?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
well, glad we're all in agreement.
They're gonna milk the hell out of it.
Because I was going to fight Carlos. I'd be like, this ending's good.
Oh my god, dude! When
It's
he
supposed
said
to be
that,
this weird.
like earlier in the day, because he watched it like Christmas Day, like in the morning.
Yeah,
or
he
afternoon,
watched it in the
whatever.
morning. We watched it extremely late
At
at
night.
night.
Yeah. So he said, "Yo, I'm just so confused." I'm like, "Dog, shut up." I would say,
Shut
your
Don't
mouth.
talk
I
about
think,
Shut up.
we said the same thing. I'm like, shut up.
yeah, and like actually fully seeing it, it doesn't I don't see necessarily Carlos's perspective of like it. I don't think it's a bad ending. I think
No,
it's
he's wrong.
Yeah.
literally the
Oh.
only way you could end it. Where
I think it's
everything
just
is
it's an
satisfied.
ending. I think he expected
Yeah.
a good ending or like a happy ending when he just got
Yeah, he just
ending.
No,
got
and
trans.
what ending?
Yeah,
Carlos
like the
was
thing is,
Oh, okay.
it's very open ended, and for us, like looking at it at the whole point of the movie, it makes a lot of sense. But for those people who don't look at it that way and just see it as like just a
Simpletons
movie,
of the world.
Yeah, for people that like think
I'm
beginning,
talking
middle,
shit
end
at
of a
Carlos,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just like
this,
all right,
this
beginning,
is not.
middle.
If
but
we are to look at storytelling as we, in a Western audience, are like used to, it's not like the perfect end to like the hero's journey. This isn't
It's
like
not
the
like some stupid Marvel movie where it's the happy ending every single
yeah.
time.
Technically, the story goes on afterwards, and we aren't there to see it. But that's the whole point. Life goes on, and
Yeah,
that's why
goes
the ending is so important, so impactful, because it's just how it is. That's how
Like,
life
yeah.
is. Like, yeah, we come to
22 went on to
breakthroughs in
live
our
a
life.
life.
Yeah, but like
Knows
we
what
come to
happened.
breakthroughs in our life. We come to just like understand, like, okay, this is. I now understand, like, that's how this part of the world works. But it doesn't change the fact that life still goes on.
That's why I like 22's ending. Probably one of my favorite endings in like anything ever. Where it's just like we don't know what happens.
Yeah.
They got to live a life, and who they are,
Interesting.
what they did, we don't know.
we don't-
But that's not what's important. We don't need to know that. Because the whole point of 22 was that they had never lived and they didn't know, like, they didn't have a reason to live. And they found a reason to live. So they lived. And that's it.
I'm just gonna ask, as a personal thing, have you guys seen this movie outside of when we first watched it?
No.
No.
No,
Fuck.
I haven't.
All right, because I was gonna say, have you guys cried in the movie or while watching the movie?
What the hell, Dan? You want me crying?
Hey, dog.
in every
Yeah,
movie?
dog. I
He
do.
cries in every movie.
Dan's very emotional.
I am. I think a lot about shit. So
Wait, where did you cry?
by the ending, when Joe was holding 22's hand and like they're like kind of free falling,
The
it's like, you
happiest
can go.
part.
Okay.
What?
It's an emotional
Okay.
cry, dog. It's not like
Yeah,
I'm not,
yeah, I get. Okay, that's like the one point where I could see crying.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I'll let
get
you.
it.
I'll let this one slide.
I'll let this one slide.
It
This one
makes
can slide.
sense.
When Joe pulled
It
all that
makes-
stuff out of his pocket, I cried. What do you mean?
Yeah, shut up.
That was emotional.
It was
All-
emotional
all
too.
22
No,
stuff.
I was confused. I was like, how do you bring the souls of inanimate objects with them? That's what I was on.
How does this work? Somebody tell me.
I was mad.
All right, so is that it for Soul then? Does this cap it off? Now ready to review?
Oh yeah, we're doing a review. Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on, let me add them up.
Are you
Go
ready
ahead.
to count it
Adding
up?
up.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta add them up
tally?
and then divide, and then it gives us the total.
Oh yeah.
Like me and Dan.
That
gave
is how averages work.
Yeah.
Good
Wait,
job.
how
I'm
do,
proud of
what
you.
do we give
Wonder
Wonder
Woman?
Woman? Yeah.
6.6.
Whoa, that's. I don't know how I feel about
It's
that.
a little
one.
high.
Shut up, Patty.
Yeah, I knew you were
kinda
gonna say.
unacceptable.
All right,
It's like a 4 at best.
Patty can start off with
10.
what?
I
Say it
said what
again.
I said. 10.
You said it.
You
So
heard.
I
one-
did not
Right.
think. I did
Wait,
not
hold
think
on.
you'd be the one to say that.
Wow.
We got a 1 and we got a 0. This is a 10.
Oh God.
Yo,
Oh,
Pat,
no.
I saw it with the good one. Okay then.
Patty's like this. Did I stutter?
Did
Yeah.
I fucking
He
stutter?
got me. He got me on that one. I don't even know what to say.
He's like,
I was
"What?"
not ready for that rating from Patty.
Wow.
Fuck. Okay.
I
Let's
mean,
have a rating.
I would, if we ever did a Pixar tier list, I would do a pure list. That way I could put Soul as the greatest Pixar movie ever made.
So we got
Prove my point.
Alright, so we have 1 on 10. Okay. Eric. What?
come back to me. Come back to me.
Okay, fine. Tones.
8.5.
Lenny.
I was gonna. Just
Oh,
say
am I not gonna?
straight
Am
eight.
I was gonna give my reasoning.
Oh, okay. Go. My bad.
Give you.
I still think that. So I think that as far as Pixar movies go, Up is probably the best, and then after that, it's like, for me, it's Monsters Inc. mostly because of nostalgia, and I didn't ever stop watching that movie as a kid. And then it's probably like Toy Story 2 or 3. Like, I don't know what I put first.
So top 5.
And then it's this. It's like, this is up there, but like, it's mainly that one thing I was saying about the teacher thing. It's like, they did it and then it just didn't matter for most of the movie. And it's just kind of weird.
Okay.
If they've
okay,
like
that's
developed on
respectable.
like more of his life besides just the music, it would have been better.
So you said 9 or 8 point what?
8.5.
8.5. Okay. All right, Lenny.
I said 8.
Straight up, just 8.
Just
Straight
straight
up.
up 8. Because I like where it went. I like how like it went through from beginning to end. And as Antonio said, they could have done more with just Joe in general. I feel because I feel like some of his background isn't explored as much outside of music and teaching. Even then, that's only to a certain extent. I feel like if that more scenes similar to the Barber scene, where 22 can learn from other people's experiences, I feel like that would make it better, but not have too much of it would also be the balance of it. I'm just not 100% with the movie for some reason,
It's okay.
but I really like it.
All right, so I'm going, and then Eric, you're going. All right. I really did not expect Patty to go like that.
I not
That's
either.
the highest rating we ever heard on this.
Mm,
No,
no, I think I
That's from
gave it
Patty
a
of
10.
all
You-
people.
Pat,
For,
Dan gave a
No,
few
for
things
him.
10s. Oh yeah.
for Patty.
It's high for Patty.
I don't know, because I think I was going to give it a 10, but then Patty came in.
I mean, you can still give it a 10.
I can still give it,
okay.
yeah.
Take him. He threw me off.
I think, I'll go with
It's
a
a-
10, because I think everything, like the emotions that I felt in that moment, the music, and then like just everyone kind of learning a lesson, not even just 22 and Joe, it's also like the Barber kind of like seeing a whole new perspective on Joe, and just kind of like everyone you kind of realize everyone, I forgot what it's called, but like it's like a thing where you realize that other people are also have to kind of have a center to or the center of their own universe kind of thing. Forgot what that specific thing is called, but kind of like that, where like everyone has a thing going on. It's not just the one person. It's kind of, I don't know. This movie's obviously for everyone, and it has a great message for everyone. Yeah. All right, Eric.
I give it a 9 because I look for plot holes. And the cat was a plot hole. for me.
The cat's not a plot hole. The Jerry fixed it.
No, a plot hole for me.
But Jerry, that one Jerry distracted
You're
Carrie
disrespecting Jerry by saying that. That's all I'm saying.
and messed with the thingies. They fixed the
That was
cat.
at the end.
No, that's a plot hole. All right. The reason why I give it a 9 is because I don't know how many times I've expressed it, but Jamie Foxx is like
Hey, if you guys didn't know, I really liked Jamie Foxx. He's a
I
big
love
Really?
Jamie
Foxx.
Foxx.
I
love
did
him.
not know that.
And like all of his movies are top tier for me. All time favorites: Django Unchained. I love Ray. I grew up on Ray, where he plays Ray Charles, piano player.
Yeah.
All that.
It's a great
He
one.
was in Soloist with Robert Downey Jr. He was in Stealth, which I haven't seen in a long time. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This dude actually he gets caught up in his roles. He's good in most of his roles that I have seen when it has a good script. And I feel like he used his personal experience for music and stuff like that because he did a lot of emotional talking tos in this one. He gave advice. He made you feel like you can do more than what you're doing. And to me, he's like an inspiration for me of who I aspire to be. So that's why I give it a 9.
I feel you. That's a good rating. What's the tally?
9.1.
Dang.
Damn.
God.
Soul got a 9.1.
And what would it give Mandalorian?
I don't know.
Season 2? I know it was less than that.
5.
That's like 8 point something. Yeah,
I think it was
It was 8.2, I think, right?
I don't know.
something like that.
It wasn't-
8.2.
It wasn't nearly as high.
No.
I mean, Wonder Woman was a 6.6. So like,
Yo, let's go.
It's
and
disgusting.
that was just
Two
me
are
and
even the
Dan.
same.
That wasn't none of y'all. That was just me
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's how
That's
sad
it.
it was.
Embarrassing. That's how
Basically,
terrible it was.
if like back in we roll back to Christmas, out of these two movies, Soul's definitely the one to go with. Like, no,
No, we
Not
can be
even
Because
a question.
The two people who liked Wonder Woman gave it a 6.6.
Yeah.
That's
Together.
not including everybody else who thinks the movie
Nah.
sucks, because it does. It's a bad movie.
I'm pretty sure Dan gave it like a 6. I gave it 6.7. He gave it a 6.5.
yeah, he rated higher than I did.
I rated it high. I
What's
definitely
wrong?
did. But it fell in the middle too.
I think I was gonna straight up give it a 6. I don't remember.
I don't either.
Yeah, how could you do that? How could you give it a higher rating?
I didn't give him a higher rating. It was mine who was less.
No. You said you're gonna give it a 6, but you gave it a 6.5.
Actually,
Oh,
Actually,
okay,
ratings.
that's what you meant. My bad.
Just like, Jesus.
Don't worry, Patty. I got you. Understand.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so that's the verdict then. Great movie. I think definitely if you have not seen it,
what's your problem? Disney
I-
Plus is cheap.
yeah, it's $6.99. Even then, there's still a
Wait, really?
A trial.
Us?
Yeah,
So you can go see
Did-
that. That's
Disney
Well,
Plus
it's-
is $7.
yep.
Did they? Has it always been that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with
Wow,
that much shit on it too.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, they don't have to pay for licenses. Probably that's probably where you save on everything because they own everything
Yeah.
already.
They just own it all and just put in the things that they own.
Yeah, I mean it's genius.
Disney
Oh,
model
right.
works. What can you say?
All right, so
Can we
that is it.
take our money?
All right, so that is it for the episode. I guess we can move on to the end.
Which one of you mother bitches doing this
All
part?
right. No.
We're not doing that.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
No, I do the ending. What you mean?
Dude,
Okay,
it's
let's
not
talk
what
about
I'm
the
saying.
marriage part.
Oh, those.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that one thing
Okay,
that we
so
do sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you guys. All right, so thank everyone for listening to this episode of the Nerds We Like podcast. I hope you enjoyed it much as we enjoyed Soul. Let us know what you would give Soul, what your thoughts and everything, and maybe on the ending, characters, maybe stuff that we mentioned here already. That's so you can if you want to switch up where you listen to the podcast, wherever that may be, you can listen to it on the iTunes app, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, and YouTube. Now once we're on YouTube, that should be like right now about the time. So like, if you want to give us a follow, subscribe to the channel, and like this video, something like that. Let's see. Okay. So the social media, if you want to follow us there, we're at Nerds Be Like Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where we usually update the what the releases, what's coming up. Eric will respond to DMs on there, or I will respond to emails on through our email. It's at nerdsbelikepod@gmail.com. Either one, you can message Eric or I topics you want us to cover, suggestions, maybe how to something you want us to improve on, something like that, or any type of criticism. We're over there. Speaking about criticism, if you want to leave a review, you can at the iTunes app. Leave any sort of star rating you think we deserve. And
5 stars or nothing.
You can also write a small review, anything you want us to know, and we'll read that out on the show. Let's see. We also have merch. Where that merch at? I don't know who's doing it, but where that merch at?
I did last week.
You got to do it every week. I'm not doing it no more.
I'm not doing it. Okay, so we have this thing called merch, right? Okay.
I can do this if you want. That's fine.
Brandon isn't here right now,
to
so
keep it brief.
you have regular Antonio here to say it, and by regular I mean Antonio, because every other time you heard like Brandon be off, that was still Brandon, but
Oh my god.
yeah, so we got this thing called merch, right? And it's pretty good. Like we got like t-shirts, like tank tops, hoodies, zip ups. We got travel mugs. We got, what else do we got, Dan? We got tapestries. I know that.
Yes, we also have stickers, magnets, face masks. With all those, we have designs such as our logo, a WandaVision inspired design with it says "Baddest Witch" and it has a little Vision Easter egg on there if you can see. We also have a Mandalorian design, real. I want to say real great, but I know I made it, but I really like the design a lot. It's like a sunset silhouette Mandalorian and the child design. Comes in a few various colors. Like not,
Yes.
I mean the. Go ahead. What?
Speaking of the fact that you made them,
Yes.
Dan has so far made all the designs, but soon Carlos will be making some designs, correct?
Mm-hmm. No, I
Yeah.
think Brandon will dabble into
I
something like
forgot
that
about
sometime.
that guy.
No.
He will too.
Yeah. All right, but that is it for the merch now. Let's. So we also have links in the description. For the Black Lives Matter movement, you want to click on that. That'll take you to the whole page. That'll give you a bunch of more resources. And we also have donations for the coronavirus situation. 4 on there currently. If you want to donate to any of those, any amount is appreciated. But that is it for this episode. Let's see what we got next week. What we got? So we got a little bit of our. Is this the one that has less people?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my day off. Woo!
So much like Wonder Woman, it'll be. It'll have less people. I believe maybe 3 or 4.
I think it's going to be 3 of us.
3. Yeah. Well, it depends on Brandon coming in.
Yeah.
And out, but it should be 3 or 4. And we're gonna be talking about our favorite / overrated actors and actresses. Yes, that's what I said. So yeah, you can come back for that next week. I don't know what's going to be put on the thumbnail, but I don't have any examples to give you other than I guess look out for that. So that is it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
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 Bye.